الطفولة. إيش ذنب الأطفال من تتزوجوهم كذا؟ يعني مثلا أنا بحل مشكلتي صح؟ بس بعض الأطفال براءتهم ما يحلوش مشكلتهم، يمكن يموتوا، يمكن ينتحروا، يمكن يفعلوا اللي براسهم.
An 11-year-old girl from Yemen has become a viral sensation after protesting arranged marriage. What's up guys, my name is Sam and you are watching I.O. So check out that video guys, that was released by the Middle East Media Research Institute. It was released this past week and it's had almost 3 million views already. It shows an 11-year-old girl. Her name is Nada Al-Ardal and she is telling her story about how she ran away from her home because her mother was trying to force her into an arranged marriage. Now this is nuts, this little girl is smart. She's smart enough to understand how bizarre this forced marriage is, and she's standing up for herself. She made the decision to run away from home even though her own mother threatened to kill her if she decided to run away to live with her uncle. And in the video she goes on quite the rant, quite the educated rant for someone so little. She talks about how she would rather die than be subjected to a life with no education. And then she goes on to talk about how her mother threatens to kill her, and she questions what kind of people would threaten to kill their children. Nada also goes on to tell us about her 14-year-old maternal aunt who was forced into a marriage that lasted less than a year, and then she went on to commit suicide by dousing herself in gasoline and setting herself on fire. So Nada is one of 8 children and she went to live with her uncle when she was only 3 years old, but when a Yemen expat who lives in Saudi Arabia asked the parents if he could marry the 11-year-old, they said yes. In interviews, this little girl has said that she is not an item for sale and she would rather die than get married at the age of 11. Now statistically in Yemen, more than a quarter of girls under 15 years old get married off by their families because they're struggling for money, and they're offered big bucks to sell their children to these much older men, and then ultimately they don't have any education, they don't get to really live their life because they're married off to these older men who I'm quite sure, more often than not, are pretty controlling, and then they have babies and then that's it. Okay, so this isn't the first time we've seen this issue in the media, but this little girl has raised the question again and is probably gonna get people talking. So what do you guys think? As controversial as it is, arranged marriage at 11 years old, families threatening to kill their children if they don't do so, it's a big one. Let me know what you think down below.